I'm a few days late on this, and I have not heard a lot of talk about it, but I believe this is the third self-immolation in the United States in regards to Israel's genocide. This is about the vigil for Matthew Nelson, who self-immolated outside Boston, the Boston Israeli consulate, while sitting below a tree in the area of the Boston Common and Public Garden on September 11th. Matthew Nelson began to record himself speaking to camera, saying he was engaging in an extreme act of protest. He said, "The protest I'm about to engage in is a call to our government to stop supplying Israel with the money and weapons it uses to imprison and murder innocent Palestinians, to pressure Israel to end the genocide of Gaza, and support the ICC indictment of Netanyahu and other members of the Israeli government." Nelson, 45, posted it on YouTube, but they, of course, have since deleted it, and he died from his wounds later. This is yet another, and I feel like it's important to talk about these stories. It's important to talk about these activists who have given everything, given their lives to protest this genocide, while at the same time, I do not support this form of action, because I feel that all of you that are activists out there that are standing up against this should be a part of this movement and continue to be a part of this movement. So I think it's an important story to cover, and it's an important thing to talk about, but I also want to make clear that this is not my preferred form of activism. But obviously, Aaron Bushnell had a massive influence. Like, the world talked about it. You know, there's posters of him in Egypt and other places for his actions. But that's the third one. And how much do you get it from the mainstream media about this? The third self-immolation. I don't know if we've ever had another protest movement in America that involved three separate self-immolations. I mean, it's just horrific. And I think the reason it's evoking these type of things is because it is so horrific. If you actually watch these videos, if you actually take in what is going down, it is unfucking believable, and it is soul crushing. So I'm not bringing this up to act like Bernie Sanders is a hero. I know how much he has let all of us down over the past many years. But that aside, for the first time ever, this is from Mondo Weiss, for the first time ever, there will be a vote in Congress on blocking weapons to Israel. This is the first vote. There has not been a vote on even beginning to stop the every 36-hour weapon shipments to Israel. That is how morally corrupt, morally bankrupt our Congress is, how bought off, the level of bought off they are. There has not been a vote, a bill, a nothing to stop the flood of weapons to Israel, to bomb children, to blow up children. Last week, Bernie Sanders announced that he had introduced legislation to block a $20 billion arms sale to Israel. $20 billion more of arms to Israel. But yeah, we don't have any money to help the people that are underwater in North Carolina and Georgia and South Carolina and Louisiana and Florida. There's no money. We don't have any money. But we're going to send $20 billion of arms to Israel. The joint resolutions of disapproval would prevent the delivery of offensive weapons, and they are offensive. I never get tired of that joke. That the State Department approved in August, just days before ceasefire talks were set to resume. The package includes fighter jets and advanced air-to-air missiles that we're sending to genocidal maniacs. This is like handing guns over to Hannibal Lecter, just like every day, and going, we really need this to stop. Here you go. We really need this to just calm down. Everybody needs to, here you go, needs to take a step back. We need peace in the region. Here you go. We need peace in the region. Well, oh, you need more ammunition. Sorry. Yeah, here you go. We need everyone to just relax and take a step back. We need a ceasefire deal. How about some grenades? Grenades are good they're all purpose. You know, there you go. That's really what it is. That's what's going on right now. Sadly and illegally, much of the carnage in Gaza has been carried out. Oh, this is a quote from Sanders, by the way. That's why he's saying carnage in Gaza rather than saying genocide. It really is these slight linguistic tricks, even by one of the only people in Congress that is putting forward a vote to stop arming Israel. Even by him, can't say genocide. Sadly and illegally, much of the carnage in Gaza has been carried out with U.S. provided military equipment, providing more offensive weapons, and they are offensive. To continue this disastrous war would violate U.S. and international law. The sales would reward Netanyahu's extremist government, even as it continues to cause massive destruction in Gaza. And, you know, Netanyahu's government is exceedingly extreme and extremist and radical and maniacal. However, I think it's important not to fall for that propaganda trick that this is all Netanyahu. This is actually how Israel has behaved in many regards for generations. So let's not pretend this is all just Netanyahu. Massive destruction in Gaza undermined the prospects of a ceasefire deal that would secure the release of the hostages and advance its efforts to illegally annex the West Bank. Congress must act to save lives, uphold U.S. and international law, and stand up for U.S. interests. We must end our complicity in Israel's illegal and indiscriminate military campaign, which has caused mass civilian death and suffering. So that's the new bill from Bernie Sanders, and a couple other Democrats signed on to it to actually begin to maybe slightly slow down. And by the way, it won't pass. But it's a nice idea.